consensus. I believe that there was the intention to try and find that, and it is difficult to find. I appreciate you, Mr. Chairman, trying to do that, but I feel that changed. And I feel that there's a lot of groups that have come forward and said that they don't feel that they had, when they take their arguments of what they wanted to see in this bill, and they weighted them of what they wanted, what was most important to them, that some of those most important issues were not included or considered. We brought forward many of those in amendments today from these groups, hoping to try and build this consensus, to make sure that this was a consensus bill. And I find it unfortunate that that hasn't happened, that we're fixing a small problem by creating more of a problem. There was the former way that what we're intended to fix was that there was problems with the way that our wetlands were handled in the past, and I believe out of this process, after this passes, we're still going to have a patchwork where it favors some and not others. And we're going to have to come back to it at some point. I wish we could have just solved it with all the stakeholders instead of just favoring some over others and realizing that we're going to have to come back to this EA again.
Well, I'll say that I'm extremely proud of this legislation. I put 13 months of work into this. Everything was considered. Everything was considered. It may not have all been included in the end. It's not over yet. Bill still has to clear both houses, still has to get to the governor's desk. But I'm extremely appreciative of the work of the individuals that did participate. I think that they will tell you that what we have here, though it may not in all cases be everything they wanted, is far better than what we previously had. That we, myself, Representative Rousseau, and others, I mean, you have to remember, this is all a two-way street. Regulated and non-regulated communities. It's very easy when somebody doesn't have any skin in the game compared to those that livelihoods, jobs depend upon. A lot of these ideas in this bill also are resurrected from Jobs Creation Act 2003, at which time then Secretary Stepp was serving on the committee in those days. A lot of these things were things that the DNR believed in, wanted to have a chance to talk about again and revisit things. And in due time, it's just like having an audit, and we did have an audit. I mean, these are things that we need to look at and say, how do we, can we make this better? Is it worth going into? Well, we knew that there were improvements. We tried to remove some of the uncertainties, try to establish some timelines, try to create more dialogue between the department and the public. I had to say no to both sides on a variety of issues. And every time one side gets something, the other side wants a little bit more. And that side wants something, this side now wants something in return. I mean, you get to the point where it's like, you have to get to the point where you say, guys, this is it. This is as far as we can go this time around. There can always be another time. But what we got here is, I'm extremely sincere about this legislation. Senator Schultz, who was in the original legislation that worked with me back when I was in the state assembly, and wrote the original legislation, helped in this endeavor, as did Senator Coles. You have to also remember, the endorsement of this bill also in the assembly hearing came from the former second in command for the DNR under the Doyle administration, Pat Henderson, Deputy Secretary of the DNR at that time. He was supportive of this new legislation. He worked for Senator Baumgart and worked exclusively with myself and my chief of staff all those years ago on the original legislation. He knows that stuff inside as well. Now, you may say he wears a different hat today than what he did when he worked in the administration in those days. But his sincerity, as well as everybody else's, whether you agree with everything in here, is this a perfect bill? No, there isn't such a thing as a perfect bill. But I think it's a very, very, very good bill. I think it's an improved bill. I read the blogs. I see some of the nasty things that have been said by some people that are even sitting in this room. But I want to thank those that were positive and were willing to agree to disagree on certain things. I mean, I had, people making accusations that this was a piece of legislation written by the Builders Association. What an insult. I don't say that person in this room today, but they know who they are. That to me is a slap in the face, because I've never legislated like that, nor would any of my colleagues that served and worked on this thing together with me would ever do that. So this doesn't favor one side or the other. This is about wetlands. This is about improving the process. This is about creating some more opportunities. It's about something I am extremely near and dear to the outdoors. Wetlands are extremely important to me. I built a reputation on this. My reputation at stake with this bill. I would do nothing to tarnish my reputation, nor anyone else that votes for this bill. I mean, I'm sorry that you may not possibly be able to vote for it in its final form, but I would encourage you to, and to realize that the intent is good. The intent is to help save, create, enhance more and better. Again, perfection is something I don't think we ever see in any legislation, but this is our best effort, and now the time has come that we have to move ahead, and then we'll let the bill play its way through and let the chips fall where they may in the process.
If I can say, I was also involved with the original legislation.
Yes, you were, Senator, and I apologize for not including you.
And I would never question your motivation. I think you're a good environmentalist, but I do think the final product is flawed.
And again, as you know, you and I probably agree on more things than we disagree with, Senator Wirtz, and we can have some coffee one of these days and talk about some of these outside concerns. But thank you. I don't take that personal. I expect that that's part of the. You're always very respectful in the process, and I thank you for your past work and current on this as well. Senator Galloway.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to thank you for your work on this bill. It's obvious that you put a lot of work into it and brought a lot of people to the table. And I think that the state of Wisconsin will be a lot better place because of this bill. So thank you for the work you did.
All right. Any other discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Senator Kedzie.
Aye.
Senator Morton.
Aye.
Weingart.
Aye.
Galloway.
Aye.
Wirtz.
No.
Holmgren. No. Larson.
Bill passes as amended.